Hi everyone, Ravi this side. Welcome to Engineering Adda. Today in this video we are going to discuss about output in Terraform. So we are going to see what is output in Terraform and how we can use it to expose or to print the variables or details or the values that we wanted to print out in the console. So that is what we are going to discuss here in this video. So let's get started for that, and let me try to go to the next slide to discuss about output in more detail. So Terraform output. In Terraform, output is a way to extract and expose useful information from your infrastructure resources. Okay, so let's say you have created a EC2 instance or S3 bucket. You want to expose some information out of that infrastructure that you developed. Like you have developed a EC2 instance and you want to expose the instance ID, or let's say the public IP of that instance. So how you can expose it out? You can use this output to expose out those information. Okay. So outputs allows you to query and display information about your infrastructure that was created or modified during the Terraform apply process. Okay. This can be useful for debugging, sharing information between modules, or simply providing a convenient way to access information like IP addresses, DNS name, or resource IDs. Okay, so this is what output is and its work. Now coming to the next slide, we are going to discuss about the key concept of Terraform output. The first is definition. Okay, so output are defined in your Terraform configuration files using the output block. So let's say you develop one main.ta file, and there how you can define the output is using the output block. Okay, I will try to show you how you can create your output block and how you can output the value that you wanted to output. So everything we are going to see with the practical implementation, so don't worry on that. Now the next point is each output block specify a value that you want to expose and optionally a description. So this output block contains two fields, one is description and the second one is value. So the value is the thing that you wanted to output or display, and the description is the description about that value that you wanted to display. So this is about the definition of Terraform output, and you have to create a Terraform output block in order to output some information, and that block contains the description and the value. Coming to the next slide, uses of this output. So output can be used to display information on the command line after an apply or plan. Okay, they can be accessed by other Terraform configuration or modules, which can help in creating dependencies between different configuration. So this output can be used between the modules or different Terraform configurations, so that it can help in creating dependency between different configuration. Okay, so this is the uses of output. Now coming to the next slide, the benefit of using output. Okay, so first one is information exposure. Easily expose and share critical information about your infrastructure. The second one is modularization. Improve the modularization of your Terraform configuration by passing output between the modules. And the third one is debugging and visibility. Okay, so enhance debugging and visibility in your Terraform runs by displaying important values. So this is the key benefit of using output. First is information expose, which is a main purpose of the output, and the second one is modularization. Third one is you can use output for debugging and visibility. Now this is about the output, and let me try to come out of it and go to the Visual Studio Code and create a practical implementation here to show you the use case of output. Okay, so don't worry on that. Let me try to create one folder here. So go to the file, open folder. Let me try to create a folder called output in Terraform. So output example, something like that. And we are going to open this. And here what we are going to do is we are going to create a main.tf file. Okay, and let me try to write the code for provider. So the provider that we are going to use is AWS, and inside that let me try to put the region here, and I'm using AWS CLI. So I already have set up my AWS CLI and provided the s- key and secret key. And like we don't have to provide those key and secret key here in the provider to access this AWS. I already have set up my AWS CLI, so it does not need to be passed here. So from AWS CLI, it will take care and it will try to connect with our AWS console. Okay, so we are not going to put those values here in the provider, so don't worry on that. Now, for me, the reason is AP Northeast 1. Okay, I will show you from where you can get the reason, so don't worry on that. Now, let me try to create a resource. Let's say AWS instance. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to create a AWS instance, and I will try to expose the instance ID and the instance IP address. Okay, so let me try to name this instance as example. And here what we need to do is we need to provide the AMI ID, and that we can go to the console, and from there we can get it out. And then instance type. So the instance type we are going to use is t2.micro, which is the free one for us. So just we are going to use that. And apart from that, let me try to put some tags here. So let's say tags equal to, let's say name equal to something like example instance. Okay, okay, so we are good now. Let me try to remove this extra spaces. So what we did is we created the provider, we created the resource here, and I already have configured my AWS CLI, so we don't need to pass the secret key here. So we are good now. If you don't know how to like configure your AWS CLI on Windows machine, there is a video on my channel. You can go and watch it out, and there I have told you how to set up your AWS CLI on the Windows machine. So once you will set up your AWS CLI, you don't need to pass those secret key here. So it will automatically be picked up from the AWS CLI. So don't worry on that. So what we did here is we created the provider and we created the resource where we are trying to create a AWS instance, EC2 instance. And in order to create that EC2 instance, what you need to do is you need to provide the MI ID here, which is blank as of now. So let me try to go to the console. So here you can see I logged into my AWS console, and if you'll go to the EC2 dashboard, you will find this thing here. And if you'll go to my reason, you will find that it is pointing Tokyo, and the reason is AP Northeast 1. That is what we provided here in the provider. Okay, so I'm doing something wrong here. So the reason is looking like AP hyphen Northeast hyphen 1, and here we have provided equal to, that is the wrong, AP hyphen Northeast hyphen 1, and we are good. Now let me try to go to the launch instance, and here we are going to so before going to do a launch instance, let me try to show you the instances that we have. So you can see we have one instance which is terminated as of now. Okay, and I'm going to launch a new instance. So for that, I'm just launching an instance, and we are not going to launch it from here manually. We will try to create like the Terraform file we can use to launch the instance. So what we are going to do is we are going to use this AMI, which is AMI ID is this, and you can see that instance type is t2.micro, which is free tier eligible. So that is what we are going to use. So I just copy the AMI and just put it here, and we are good now. Now let me try to do something. So let me try to open the terminal here, and let me maximize it out, and let me try to run the Terraform init to initialize the Terraform here for this project. So just call this Terraform init, Okay, so before that, let me try to save this main.tf file and then call this Terraform init. It will take few seconds of time to initialize this AWS. You can see that it is installing this HashiCorp AWS. It will initialize the AWS for us, and it will also initialize the Terraform for us so that we can work on it. So just wait for a few seconds, and after that we can try to run the others commands to plan our Terraform and to apply our Terraform to create the resources. So we are good. You can see that Terraform has been successfully initialized, and now let me try to do one thing. Let's say Terraform plan. Sorry. And it will show you what things we are going to do. So you can see that the plan is 1 to add, 0 to change, 0 to destroy. And what thing we are adding is we are trying to create this AWS instance. You can see this. This will be created. So let me try to create that. So for that we need to run the command called terraform apply. Sorry, terraform apply. It will ask you if you want to create that resource or not. So you have to say yes, and then it will create the resource for you. And in this case the resource is EC2 instance. So you can see it started creating it out, and once it is created, what we'll do, it will try to go to the console and try to see if some EC2 instance is created or not, and we'll check the details of that. And after that we'll try to see the function of output, where we'll try to print out the instance ID and the instance public IP to see what is the public IP of that instance that we created. So you can see it is created now. Now go to this console and try to go to the instances and refresh this out. So here you can see that we created one instance and its name is example instance that we provided here. You can see this in the tag, and this is the ID for that instance ID, and these are the states and all other things that we have, and this is the public IPv4 DNS for this instance, and this is the IP for this instance. Okay, so these things are looking good. Now let me try to go to the Visual Studio Code, and here let me try to use the output to output the instance ID, or like others details that is listed here, you can output it out, but we are going to output the instance ID and the let's say we want to expose out this DNS or IP. Okay, so those things you can try. So let me try to create the output block for you. So if you remember that we need to create an output block, and we have to provide, let's say the name of the block is instance ID, and in the output block what we need to put is we need to put the description here. So you can put the description, let's say the ID of the EC2 instance. So ID of the instance created, something like that. And yeah, and what other thing we need to do, we need to put the value here, and the value is the instance that we created, which is AWS underscore instance, and the instance name which is example here, which already picked here, right? So this is the value, and then what we need to put is we need to put the ID that we want to print. So this is like we want to print the instance ID, that is why we are appending the dot ID here. If you'll go to this, you will find that here you can see this is the instance ID, but in order to access that instance ID, you have to append this dot ID. So we are good, and now let me try to save this file. And what I'm going to do is I'm trying to run this Terraform apply again and then see. So you can see that it's refreshing the state, and Just say yes, and you can see in the output we are getting this instance ID. Okay, so if you'll see this instance ID, the same is coming here. Okay, which is I hyphen 04B hyphen 04B, right? The same instance ID which is running is coming here. So similar way you can print out the instance ID. Let me try to show you the another command. So if you want to output the instance ID, what you can do is you can run this command called Terraform output, and then the output that you created, the output variable, which is instance ID here, right? So just run this and you will get the instance ID instantly. You can see this, right? So this is how also you can access this output. And now let's say if you want to output the IP of the instance that you created. So how you can do that? So for that, let me try to create a block called instance, and let's say public IP, and we have to access the same. So let's say, let me try to change the description here. So it is public IP of the instance created, and here it would be AWS instance dot example, and then how we can access the ID, sorry, IP here. So for that we have the key called public IP. If you want to access the DNS, you can use DNS. So we are going to access the IP here. So just use this public IP, and we are good. Now what we can do is let me try to see if we can try to output here before like creating out that resource. Okay, so there is a command called terraform plan that you can run to see the plan that you're going to apply. So just let me try to do that. Make sure before running this command you save your file. I don't think I have saved, so it's saying no changes. I saved it now. Now again running the command terraform plan, and then see. So it is refreshing, and here you can see the changes to output is we are appending the instance public IP, and the IP is getting here, right? So what you can do is let me try to run this instance public IP, and then see if you are getting the IP here or not. So it is saying not found. So in order to output that, you have to like create that resource. So let me try to create it out. So just run this Terraform apply. It will create this output block, and then we can see in the output what we are getting, and then we can also run that command. So just say yes, and here you can see in the output we are getting the instance ID and the instance public IP. If you will go to the console, you will find that the same IP is being displayed there as well. So you can see that 54.95.60, which is also the same here. And if you want to run this output command, so you can do output instance public IP, and you will find that public IP here. So this is how you can use output to expose the variable or the value that you wanted to expose. And this is about the output in Terraform. If you like the video, please hit the like button, and please subscribe the channel for more such content. Thanks.